coming through this weekend, and maybe just a bit of history in the fact that you have scored 23 and you have been, maybe I think if I'm not wrong, and also you've conceded 23. Does that get you worried towards the last few games?
In general, no, to be honest, we've never hidden it, or I've never shied away from the fact that with the number of opportunities we create in a game, I think we could have and possibly even maybe should have scored more goals than we have up until now. I think with the exception of 2 or 3 games where we've conceded more than 1 goal, we've been quite solid defensively. We've even had a few good runs of consecutive games of keeping clean sheets. So I think more when we look at that is the fact that it's purely our responsibility, and it's something that we have tried to continuously work on. The fact that with our quality of our game and the number of chances that we create, we haven't possibly finished enough of as we should have. But it's not an area of concern. Like everything, I think it's one of the areas that we focus on and we develop, but it's only one aspect of our game.
You know, maybe on a lighter note, there's a team in the English Premiership League which is always on number 6, anchored on number 6. We won't mention names, but Abulawe Chiefs also has been on number 10 for quite a while. Are you comfortable with that position, or you would like to see a bit of a change?
Never comfortable, to be honest. If we were, or in this case we're in 10th, we want to be above it. If we were in 6th, we would want to be above it. Only when you get to the first place is when you can't get any higher. So we're never happy with what we've done. Everything that we've achieved, or anything that we may consider small little steps in terms of success, are always left behind us 24 hours after we start to focus on the next one. So we are proud, me as the coach, and I think us as a club and generally as a team, we're proud of the achievements and the successes we've been able to make over these last 11, 12 months in terms of our development, in terms of our growth. But we know that there's steps just in the direction of our ultimate objective and in terms of where we want to achieve and where we want to be in the future. So we're not happy, but like I said, it's not because we're in 10th. It doesn't matter where we will be. We won't be happy until we're as high as we can be.
Obviously bemoaning the fact that you've been missing a lot of chances. This past weekend we saw a number of chances created, which is a positive, but would you be worried about maybe Aubrey missing penalties? This, if I'm not wrong, second or third?
Third one is missed, yes.
Yeah.
I'm worried in the sense that those penalties at times can possibly cost us points in the end. But to be honest, something that I'm happy with is that even though he had missed or has missed previously, he's not afraid to take them again. So you only miss when you try and take them. It's easy for any of us in the stands or on the bench or watching a game on TV to say that, he shouldn't have taken it, or I wouldn't tell him to take it, or something like that. So for me, the most important is the fact that he continues with the confidence to do so. But it's not just my decision, it's not just him, it's something we decide as a team. It's something that has to do with the moment as well, just like free kicks or anything else. It comes down to how the players feel at that time, where the confidence is at. In this case, he felt he was confident enough to take it. The players trusted him. He didn't score it, but the way he played was much more important and signified much more than just that moment in the game.
Well, you obviously come to the end of training for this week. Do you think you would make some changes in terms of the team that played against Highlanders, or tweak the team here and there?
Might be forced to tweak a small little tweak, but I won't know that until tomorrow morning. We have 1 or 2 knocks, and it's just dependent on that. Other than that, there shouldn't be too many changes in terms of what we've done, because again, it's been a development and a growth continuity, if you like, of what's been happening these last several weeks. So there wouldn't be much of a change. There's little things, but we do that, or we try to do that at least week to week in terms of certain positions or certain movements in terms of our dynamics. But in terms of changing much or changing a large amount, I don't think that will happen.
Well, the defense initially was being labeled as if there's too many deadlocks, but we've seen them coming through and, as you said, conceding not too many goals in terms of gameplay. Would you want to comment on the defense?
It's organization, but again, it's just like the fact that we aren't scoring goals. We brought up Aubrey, but it's not just him, and we just won the last game and it wasn't him that scored. It comes from a set piece. So when we attack and the opportunities that we've missed, it's not just the strikers. Sometimes it comes down to that final pass or that cross, so they're just as much to blame as the one who takes the shot. Defensively is exactly the same. It comes down to our organization. It comes down to how we work as a team, but it's not just the goalkeeper or the back 3 or back 4 or the back 6. It starts from the very first player in the front, and the way that we press, the way we defend, the way we force teams to play into areas that we want to set traps and things like that. So in terms of the defensive record and everything we've been able to do positively in that sense, again, it's a collective achievement. It's not individual.
What's your take on your opponent on Sunday?
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen them play lately. When we played them in the first game, it was very difficult. They'd always played a back three. I remember because I remember then we got there and they had actually changed into a 4-3-3 and tried to go man for us. Very tall, two centre backs, very tall number 6 who anchored and tried to basically just follow perfect everywhere and anywhere on the pitch and marked them man for man. So then quite aggressive in terms of going forward. I think it'll probably be a little bit of that. They're definitely a good side in the sense, and we have to respect them like we would do with everyone else. They're ahead of us in the table, so that has to mean something as well.
But do you think that the win in the Chibuku Super Cup is a boost ahead of this game?
I think maybe for confidence and morale, it's always important, like any other victory is. But to be honest, the first thing I said to the players on Tuesday is that they have to flick that switch off now. The Chibuku Cup doesn't continue for 3 weeks, so we have to go back into the league mode. We have to go back into focus on now what are games that signify points and what can signify moving up the table. So it's good if it helps us with our confidence and then helps us maybe with our morale, but we can't get arrogant. You can't misplace or misguide confidence with arrogance. We have to respect these opponents like we've done to every other one, and ultimately we have to think of ourselves and hopefully be able to implement our own game style and model.
The Chibuku Super Cup under the bridge, as you say, but you're through to the semi-finals. What would be your target for the tournament?
Well, ultimately, I think I touched a little bit on it earlier. I think the story of the Bulawayo Chiefs this season, I think, all has to come down to that positivity, the growth, the development. Things that had never been achieved have been achieved this year. But we are humble enough, if you like, to just know that these are small steps. I mean, we know that we're trying to get into those areas and become one of those clubs that can consistently win or consistently be in and around challenging for higher positions and for silverware and things like that. But we're still in a learning process and a developmental one as well. So in terms of where we want to go, we don't limit ourselves. I mean, we're confident enough and we have enough belief in ourselves to think that we can beat any team. But at the same time, we also know that we can lose to anyone also. So I think it will come down to the day, to the game. I think it comes down to the opponent. And ultimately, I think it comes down to us and what we're able to achieve. Something that's very important for me is I don't think, for example, if we use the last Chibuku Cup as an example, I don't think we beat Highlanders because Highlanders didn't play well. I think we beat Highlanders because we played well. And I think that sometimes that's forgotten. I think a lot of the times these players maybe don't get the respect or recognition, if you like, that they deserve. And I think it's a fact that this season, like I said, we have grown, we have developed. We've played, not always, but for very long periods of time, very good football, very good, high quality football. And that's down to the quality of the players. We can't do it every time, but hopefully when it matters, for example, in the semi-finals or in a final or in these games, we will be able to do it. And if we can, we'll be able to get the results that we want as well.
Coach, basing on the last 3 to 4 games that your boys have played, do you feel they're finally moving in the right direction, and how happy are you with their performance?
Yeah, again, touching on the same word, but I think it's our development and our growth. I mean, these last maybe 6 weeks or so have been very positive in terms of results. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last 7 games is 5 wins and 2 draws. So it's good in that sense. And I think the most important, and we spoke about this, if I'm not mistaken, sort of in early July, the most important thing and what we've been able to do a little bit more of is correlate performances with points. So we're starting to get a little bit more of a reward in terms of what we do in the game. But as I said earlier, I think in terms of our performances, I think in terms of the identity of the team, how we play, the quality of the game that we implement, and I think it's a general sort of opinion from those that watch us play, from even away fans and a lot of them that I speak to and that watch our games, independent of the result, we've been able to put on good shows and good performances. So for us, like I said, especially in year 0, first foundation year of this project, being able to hit small milestones, if you like, for example, reaching the Final Four of the Cup, or never reaching this period of the season with this number of points, or never having gained even a point in the league in the first 3 games, and in these first 3 we had 7. So they're little milestones and small little steps that we're proud of in terms of achievement, but at the end they don't mean anything in the sense that we are looking at things in a much bigger picture, and hopefully the most important is it's just taking us in the direction we want to go.
Thank you, Coach,
Thank
and
you.
all the best for week 28.
Thank you very much.
Fortune